Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Anthropology Masterclass. I'm Dr. Arjun Bopanna, and I'll be handling your entire anthropology syllabus for your UPSC mains. See, anthropology is a very easy subject to understand. It's also a very interesting subject. Uh, we will try to understand the concepts relating to the syllabus, and at the same time, we'll also focus on the recent trends and developments so that we will be able to address the changing level of questions in your examination. Even you might have seen the previous year questions. Recent trends have been that in every option, they are asking challenging questions, analytical questions, they're interrelating topics and asking. So same thing with anthropology also. The concepts remains the same. The subject is still easy, but the way you are supposed to understand the question, the way you are supposed to write your answers. So there is a little bit of effort that you need to put, a little bit of change in your mindset you need to do, because it cannot be like what was done 5 years back, 6 years back, where you simply read the syllabus, you by-hearted the question and answer of previous year questions, and you could simply answer it. It's not like that anymore, honestly speaking, because even though previous year questions are important to understand where the questions are coming from, how the questions are being asked, but how you are going to answer these questions, this requires a different level of mindset, right? So we will try to address that aspect of our preparation also. Now, in the class, I will give you conceptual clarity with respect to every topic, okay? Because I've been doing this from past 12 years, and I can assure you that whatever level of knowledge you have about humans from social point of view, biological point of view, it doesn't really matter, because I can help you to get that crystal clarity with respect to the topics. Okay, so don't worry about that. So my idea will be always this: understand the concepts, okay, understand the theoretical basis behind these concepts, study good examples, case studies to write beautiful answers. Okay, so this will be the master class. I will try to cover the entire syllabus within 50 days, and all the section that we will be covering will also include materials. Okay, so we will be starting with social cultural anthropology from today, right? How the classes will go on, very simple. We will cover the entire anthropology syllabus in sections. Okay, so there are 7 sections in which we will be covering these topics, starting with social cultural anthropology. Then we will go to theorists, then Indian anthropology, okay, then tribal, then evolution, physical and cultural evolution, and biological anthropology. So all these are different sections. So there are 7 sections. I'll not go into the details of the syllabus, because if you are not well familiar with anthropology as a subject, talking about the syllabus in the first class will not have any utility. Okay, so let me start with socio-cultural anthropology from today itself. Okay, so what we will be talking about in socio-cultural anthropology is studying about human society and their culture. After that, theorist. That means the theorists, anthropologists who have contributed to the development of anthropology and understanding human society and culture. So that is the second section. Then we have Indian anthropology, where we will be talking about Indian society from an anthropology point of view. Then fourth section is tribal anthropology or tribal India, where we will be talking about Indian tribes, their features, problems, solutions, what the government is doing, and everything about tribes. And along with tribes, other marginalized sections like backward communities, OBCs, minorities, SCs, etc. Then in the 5th and 6th section, so the 5th and 6th section deals with evolution. One will be the physical evolution, the other one will be cultural evolution. So humans have evolved from our ancestors, both biologically as well as culturally. So the 5th and 6th section deals with evolution. And the last section is your biological anthropology, where we will be talking about human biology from an anthropology point of view. All right. So today we will start with social cultural anthropology. So that is the first section. Now, every section, if you take, once we cover the topics, and then we will go back to the syllabus and tick mark whatever has been covered. So at the end, you'll realize the entire syllabus will be covered in a very systematic manner, because in the syllabus, it's all very jumbled up. It is quite, some topics are haphazardly arranged. So we will do it in a way to best understand this subject. Okay. After that, we will, check the syllabus. Right. Now, every section, we will try to get conceptual clarity. And I will give you a lot of case studies, which will be displayed here, right? So after the class, you will also have recordings. The recordings will be uploaded within 24 hours. So you can again revisit the class slides, all right? And you can make note of the case studies if you have missed out, okay? So every section, as I told you, comes with one material. So now this is the material for social cultural anthropology. All of you have access to it. You might have downloaded it already. If not, you can go to the LMS. Yes, we have messaged you in the group how to access the LMS. Okay, so you can access the materials from your LMS. Now, if you see here, every material, if you see, has a column called as micro notes. Over there, I want you to write keywords. Okay, if you see here, every material has one column called as micro notes. So what you should write here is, this is your class notes, nothing else. Entire book you have to read. Okay, I will help you to understand it. And then this micro notes column is where you will be writing keywords, important case studies which are not there in the textbook, but is there in the slides, because I'm constantly updating the slides. Okay, so you will pause the video, okay, and write down the case studies. Okay, so in the class we'll be quick so that we can cover as many topics quickly as possible. Is that okay? So once the class is over, you can watch the recordings. Whatever you have missed out, you can finish it. So then this book will be one single source that you will be reading. So like this, I will be giving you 7 volumes of material. All right. So 6 has already been uploaded. 1 is pending. Right, so that I'm still editing, because a lot of recent developments is there. I have to add into that document, that is biological anthropology. Other than that, all 6 volumes have already been uploaded. They're updated, and make sure you take a print or digital copy of it and make these notes. So this is the only thing that you have to write over here. Okay, this is your only notes addition that you have to do, because I don't want you to get carried away. So if you are forced to write only so much, you will write the most important points necessary for the examination. Is that okay? So this is how we will be covering the class. So we'll start with socio-cultural anthropology, and then one by one, so I won't be giving any dictated notes. I will explain the concepts in the class, give you all the case studies that is necessary. Most of the case studies are already there in the book. Some new ones which are not there in the book, you can write down in the micro notes. Now, what I want you to do is, I want you to revise these notes again and again, as many times as possible. So that is the strategy for getting conceptual clarity and remembering it. Revision is the key. Along with that, you have to also write answers. So regularly we will start writing answers. So from next week onwards, we will start with answer writing. I will tell you where to upload your answers, getting evaluated. So on an everyday basis, at least one answer if you write, okay, over 50 days, and then after this also. So when you practice every day, okay, before your exam, you will be exam ready. Okay, so this is what we have to do. So 1, concept clarity. 2nd, revision. 3rd, answer writing. Yeah, so the first one will be my responsibility. Okay, the concept clarity. I can assure you that you will be able to understand, appreciate, and enjoy anthropology from my classes. 2nd, revision. That is your job. 3rd, answer writing. also is your job. I will be giving you questions. You will have to write it, upload it, get it evaluated. Okay. So this 3 steps, if we do in anthropology, you will be able to score, somewhere around 300 marks in anthropology. Is that okay, guys? So this is what we will be doing in the class. All right. So all these textbooks will be provided to you, which has already been done. Then any other standard source. So many students ask me, do we have to read any standard source? Well, from the exam point of view, I have read all these standard books and I have made the notes, right, that I'm giving it to you, whether it is Ember and Ember, whether it is Majumdar or any other, sources like Nadeem Hasnain. All these books as part of my preparation, as well as part of me being a teacher of anthropology, I have studied them. I have selected lot of points, case studies from them and integrated in your book. Also, my slides will be updated, keeping whatever recent developments that are happening, case studies, etc. So therefore, I personally feel that you don't need these sources. You can conserve that time and money and use it for your general studies or some other preparation. Okay, but still, if you want, you can buy these books for reference. There's no harm in reading books. But from the exam point of view, you need one single source and multiple revision. These books have been prepared for UPSC mains alone, and keeping in mind the syllabus, right? So therefore, stick to this for clarity, etc. You can maybe read this, but not compulsory, right? Some of the common questions before we start our class. How many classes? So I plan to finish this within 50 classes. If we are able to do it quicker, less, or if we need more clarity, take more time to understand, maybe more classes, but around 50 classes. Then till when the recordings will be available? The recordings will be uploaded in your LMS within 24 hours, and they will be available to you till your mains examination, not a problem. Okay. If you have joined late, meaning some of you will be watching this video later. Okay. So don't worry. You continue from class 1. Okay. And you prepare your own schedule, fix a particular time of a day when you will watch the video. So watch the recording video. You will be able to get that same clarity as you are attending a live class. But make sure you follow the schedule, because I will finish one section and then I will start the next section. Okay, so do this. And how many hours should I dedicate? See, this is very important. Now, the classes will be 2 hours every day, okay, weekdays. So another 2 hours I want you to dedicate for your revision. You finish the class, and then for 2 hours, you can read what we have discussed in the class, and then make those micro notes, underline the keywords, etc. So the 2 hours for reading and revising, okay, along with answer practice. So within 1 hour, 1.5 hours, you can cover the notes on that particular day, right? After that, about half an hour you dedicate for answer writing. Then should I read textbooks? As I told you, these are the textbooks that are in addition to the class notes. My suggestion is you don't have to. All right. Will I get class presentation? No, not necessarily. If there is anything very important or additional content, I will give it to you. Otherwise, as a whole, I won't, because too many sources will unnecessarily lead to confusion. If you see today after the class and read the notes, you will find that whatever we have discussed in the class, whatever is there in the presentation, that is already being covered in the notes. Okay, so therefore the class presentation, if I give you, it will add another additional half an hour for you to read or go through them every day, which is again unnecessary. So this is what are some of the common questions which my students ask, and if you have any, you can let me know. Now, based on my experience, I also know some mistakes students do, so I am telling that beforehand only. Do not read guidebook in the beginning itself. So there are a lot of books in the market for marketing purpose in the form of question and answers. Okay, they are branded as toppers notes, but basically what it is poor answer writing of previous year question. They don't have good quality. They don't cover the entire syllabus, and they don't give you the actual information that is necessary for you to clear the exam. But it gives you comfort, saying that yes, one single book covers the entire syllabus. That's how it is marketed also. Read one book and everything will come from this. That is not correct. So therefore, don't read the guidebooks now itself. Finish the syllabus and then maybe you can read the guidebook or question answer, topper's notes, etc. later. First, get conceptual clarity. Get through the syllabus first. Then hoarding materials and journals like this. Don't buy all the books. You feel like you're preparing for the toughest exam. I need to have all the resources with me. You go to the shop and buy all the anthropology book. Please don't do that. And also online, you will search anthropology resource and you'll get several PDF documents and you start downloading all of them, create a folder and put all the documents there. No, don't do that. Don't hold the documents, materials, journals, etc. One single source, okay, multiple revision. All right. And obsession with case studies. See, you need to have case studies to enhance your answers, but don't get obsessed by it and start going on collecting case studies, and you will have thousands of case studies and then you will not be able to replicate them in your answers. Have enough number of case studies from different topics. From different topics, you identify one or two case studies and try to replicate them in your answers. Okay, I will give you a lot of case studies myself. Okay, if you search now, though there is artificial intelligence, you just put there, it will do your hard work. Okay, so don't have to do that. Okay, so as you go, you will realize that, okay, so many case studies I can remember, so many names I can remember, so many anthropologists I can remember, and that you try and replicate. And don't complicate your preparation. Keep it simple. Okay, so don't have to read multiple sources. Don't unnecessarily, hold materials, etc., and complicate your preparation. Keep it very, very simple. Okay. So this is what you should avoid. Is that okay? Any doubt? Archana, any doubt? Start with our introduction to anthropology, followed by the first chapter on social cultural anthropology. All right. So what is anthropology? Now, anthropology is a holistic study of man. Now, when we divide the word anthro and pology, okay, logi. Anthro means human. Anthro means human. Logi means to study. Okay, so therefore, from the name itself, you can derive the definition of anthropology. So what is anthropology? Anthropology is the holistic study of mankind. Everything about man, everything about humankind, everything, whether it is society, whether it is their culture, whether it is their evolution, whether it is their biology, everything is studied in anthropology. So it's a holistic study of mankind, right? It is derived from the Greek word anthropos, meaning humankind, and logi or logos, meaning the study or the science. So therefore, it's a science of mankind. It's a study of mankind. So etymologically, what it means is science of humankind. In your notes, in your book, you will find several definitions of anthropology. One of them you can remember for any answer, introduction, etc. But otherwise, very simple definition of anthropology is it's a holistic study of mankind. We study every aspect of man, whether it is society, whether it is the culture, whether it is the evolution, whether it is a biological aspect, human adaptation, everything is studied. So study all aspects of humankind. Okay, at all levels of development, meaning in the past, the present, every stage of development, we study it in every part of the world, both past as well as present. Okay, now what is the aim of anthropology? What is the aim of anthropologist? So the aim of anthropologist is to understand what is common to all man. Okay, what is universal? What is common to all man? What is universal? That means it is found in every society, or it is found in everybody. Okay, so anthropologists aim to identify what is universal, what is general. That means it is common to man, but with variations. Okay, so broad pattern across society is general, and what is specific, what is unique to a particular society. I'll give you an example. Now, what is universal is man is a social animal. So man always lives in a family. So family is a universal institution. Now, anthropologist has studied humans across the world in the past and present, and we have always found that man always lived in groups, or man always had a family. So family is an universal institution. Okay, so that is universal. Now, that concept, that what is common to all humans. Then, what is general, broad pattern across society? So that means family is established by individuals who come together by marriage. So that is a general idea. But it is not universal, because there are some exceptions. There are societies where you don't have marriage. But in general, humans establish family through marriage. Now that is general. Now when we talk also, we tell, generally I am a early riser. That means most of the days I get up early. But it is not always true, correct? So that's the word general. So here also anthropologists try to identify what is general. And then what is specific? That means what is unique to only a particular society, which is not found in other society. Now, for example, parallel cousin marriages. They are not allowed in many societies. Only few societies, like in Middle East and some tribal society, may parallel cousin marriage is allowed. So they are very specific to a particular society. Now, for example, Hindus don't eat, some Hindus do not eat meat from cow. Cow meat they don't consume. Now that is very specific to Hinduism. Islam, they don't consume pig meat. Now that is very specific to a particular society. So what is specific? Unique trait of a particular group. So as anthropologists, what do? We study society, culture, whatever. After we study, we come up with idea as to what is universal, what are general, and what are specific. And we try to build theories. We build theories to help understand humans. To understand humans. We develop theories to help better understand humans. Okay, so that is what is anthropology. Is that okay? Now, anthropology is a fairly new term. Okay, before anthropology, the term that was used was ethnology. Even today, in some universities across the world, instead of using the word anthropology, they use the word ethnology. Now, ethnology, again, we can divide the word. Ethno means folk or people. And logi means the study, Greek. Ethno means folk or people. So that means it is a study of people. It is a study of people. So like anthropology, ethnology also, it studies people and their culture. Okay, it's a science of people, study of culture of a particular group. Is that okay? See, anthropology and ethnology. Anthropology studies all aspects. It studies all aspects, whereas ethnology, it studies only the cultural aspect of human society. Is that okay? So that is what is ethnology. And another aspect of ethnology is that it is a comparative and analytical study. When we say comparative study, it compares one culture or one society with another culture or society. In order to understand what? When we compare, what do we understand? By comparing, we understand what is similar and what is different. What is common and what is dissimilar, right? So that is what is comparative and analytical study helps us. To help us to generate laws, to help understand what is common and what is difference. So why do we do this? Why ethnology? What do they study? They identify pattern. Yes, what is common pattern, what is different, and underlying principles. Okay, to understand the similarities and difference between cultural groups. So they will study Indian society, they will study Western society, and then they will compare the two. They will study, like, say, family as an institution. If I am an anthropologist and if I am doing ethnology, so what will I do? I will study Indian family system and compare them with family system of Western countries. And then I will come up with a law saying that these are common, these are different, why it is so, that, this, etc. Right? So that is what. So aim is to generate theories. By generating theories, we will be able to understand what is common, what is different, and help us to understand human culture. So that is ethnology. Is that okay? So I hope you understood what is anthropology and what is ethnology. Now, another similar term that is often confused is ethnography. Now, if we again divide the word, ethno means folk and or people, and graphy means to write. Is that okay? So here, you write about people's culture or about people's society, way of life, etc. So that is what is ethnography. So ethnography is a research method where ethnologists or anthropologists, they write about people's culture or their society. So it's a research methodology. So now, just to give you an idea, an anthropologist will go to a society, and when he writes about it, it becomes ethnography. So therefore, it's a research method used by anthropologists or ethnologists. Okay, it's a systematic study of people and culture where you present the data, empirical data, what is real, what is there. So I'll go to a tribal community and I will study them, and then I write about them. I will write about their family structure, I will write about their religion, I will write about their economy. So this practice or research method where we document people's culture and society, that is called as ethnography. That is called as ethnography. Right? So here it is knowledge about lives of cultural group, a method of collecting data in field. So we will go and do field work. Anthropology is a field subject. So we go to the field, we study the people, we make note of it. Okay, we study them on the field. That is called as ethnography. So who do this? Okay, so those who do it, they are called as ethnographers. Is that okay? So the three words, that is anthropology, ethnology, ethnography. I hope there is no confusion. Anthropology is a broad study of human. We study everything about human, whether it is biology, language, culture, society, evolution, everything. Whereas ethnology is simply study of culture within anthropology. So here it comprises of all aspects of human. Whereas ethnology, it comparing the culture with different societies. So you study one society and compare it with another society. And what is ethnography? It's a research method used to describe specific culture. It's part of fieldwork where you generate data, where you collect data. Is that okay? So these are the three words that you should be aware of before we continue. Okay? So next we'll go into the scope of anthropology. That means what is studied by anthropologists, okay, and how does anthropology become a unique subject because of its scope. What scope makes anthropology a unique subject? Okay, now what is the scope? What do we study? As I told you, anthropology is a holistic study. That means it studies every aspect of mankind, whether it is culture, society, biology, evolution, etc. So it's a holistic science, meaning it studies everything. It studies everything about mankind, right? So it is a universal, it studies what is universal, what is general, and what is specific. It studies mankind in totality. It describes, it analyzes, and it synthesizes. So these three words we need to understand. So what do anthropologists do? They describe. Once they describe a cultural or biological or societal phenomena, then they will analyze it, meaning why it is there, what is the reason behind it, what are the factors that affect it, everything. And they will synthesize theories. Okay. So when I say describe, okay, simply you go study, observe, and make note of it. So that is describing. So anthropologist will describe whether it is a cultural phenomena, whether it is a biological phenomena, anything is studied by anthropologists means they will describe it. Okay. And second, they will analyze it. When I say analyze, they will find the reasons, they will find the factors that affect it, and they will study the impact of it, whatever it is. Now, see, for example, I will go to a tribal community. I want to study their family system. So I will describe their family system. So there is a father, there is a mother, okay, there is children, that, this, etc. Then I will analyze it. Why is it so? Like say, let's say in that particular tribe, there is high incidences of parallel cousin marriages. So I will describe it. Yes, this particular society has parallel cousin marriage. So that's a description. There is parallel cousin marriage. Then I will analyze it. Why it is so? Why is parallel cousin marriage high among such communities? After I analyze it, I will come up with a theory saying that if this X factor is there, they will have parallel cousin marriage. If they don't have X factor, then we will not see parallel cousin marriages. So in the course of our learning, okay, we will come across such examples which will help you to understand it. So that's the scope. So we study all aspect of man, we study all group and all time. All time means past, present, and also the future, meaning what are the changes that is happening. So everything with respect to humans, coterminous with genus Homo, right? Everything about humans is studied in anthropology. So that is the scope. We study what is universal, I told you already. We study what is general and what is specific. Universal, what is common to all humans. General, broad pattern found in most societies. Particular, what is very unique to a particular society, right? So this is what is the scope of anthropology. So every human on this planet Earth, their culture, their societies, it can be studied by anthropologists. Okay, so that is the scope of anthropology. One more related aspect of scope of anthropology is the understanding of what makes anthropology a unique subject. What makes anthropology unique? Why is it different from other disciplines? So question can be asked indirectly relating to the scope of anthropology. How is anthropology different from other discipline? Okay, other subjects like economy, political science, anything. How is it different? So what makes anthropology unique? So one is it's a holistic study, meaning we study every aspect of humankind. In society and culture, we study the economy of humans, we study the family system, we study religion, we study political system. See, for example, political science, they only study the political dimension of a society. Okay. Whereas economy will study the means of production, distribution, and consumption. They don't study about marriage, they don't study about biology and other things. But as anthropologists, we study every aspect of mankind. So it's a holistic study. We study every dimension of mankind. Is that okay? So that's very unique to anthropology. No other discipline studies mankind in a holistic manner. Another aspect is comparative. So anthropologists undertake comparative study. They study one society with another society, or one group of people with another group of people, not only from a cultural point of view, even biology. See, for example, people living in the equatorial region, their skin is dark. Okay, they compare the skin color of people living in temperate region, in European continents. Their skin is fair. Now, anthropologists will analyze what is the reason behind this. Why one group of people is different from the other group of people, even in biological term. So by doing comparative study, anthropologists will understand what is similar and what is different. And this will help us to develop theories, synthesize theories to help understand human phenomena, whether it is cultural phenomena, whether it is biological phenomena. It helps us to understand that. Then anthropology also studies it from systemic and process point of view. See, anything that anthropology studies, they study it from a dynamic point of view, not from a static point of view. Let me give you an example to help you understand what is systems and process point of view. Human biology. Let's take human biology. When they study human biology, right, they don't study individual parts. They study individual parts in relationship with other parts. For example, they study human heart and how it is related with human lungs, how it is related with other parts of human body, how brain is related to heart, how brain is related to lungs. So human body is studied as a system and try to understand how it functions, process, meaning we study how heart pumps the blood and how this blood goes to the lungs and how the lungs then the blood returns back to the heart, and from the heart how it pumps to the rest of the body. So if you really want to understand heart or human body, whatever it is, whether the small part or human body, we have to understand it from the systems and process point of view. Yes or no? So biologists, anatomists, doctors, anybody, they study human biology from systems and process point of view. Same way, anthropologist also studies anything from a systems and process point of view. If you take culture, okay, if you take culture, culture is divided into different parts. You have marriage, you have family, you have kinship, you have religion, you have political organization, you have economy. So like that, you have several institutions, different parts. Within that also, now if you take political institutions, so you have the ruler, the king, the public, etc. So there are smaller parts within that. So if you really want to understand culture, you can't study one single institution. You have to study all the institution as a system, because one interacts with the other, one affects the other. Only when you understand the relationship between these two, you will be able to appreciate the particular culture or society or human biology or whatever. Okay, so that is the meaning of systems and process. So if you see here, anthropologist studies any society, culture, etc. from a functional, how the institution functions, how different institutions interact with each other. It refers to study how various elements, I told you, marriage, kinship, family, etc., within the society, how they are organized, interconnected, and function over a period of time. This will help us to explore the dynamic nature of culture and society. Okay, the dynamic nature, meaning it is a functioning unit. Okay, like human body, human culture, human society is a functioning unit. Only if you study the parts and how these parts are interacting with each other, okay, how they affect each other, and if you study it in an integrated manner, only then you will understand. So that is the meaning of systems and process point of view. Next, the fourth one is anthropology also studies from an emic and etic point of view. What does this emic and etic point of view mean? Emic means your insider's point of view. Etic means outsider's point of view. See, that's a unique feature of anthropology, because we are not going to study it only from an outsider's point of view. We study how society works from an insider's point of view, and also we analyze it from an outsider's point of view. When you analyze society from an insider's point of view, it is called as emic perspective. When we understand the society from an outsider's point of view, it is called as etic. Both have advantage. See, when you study from an insider's point of view, you are going to be unbiased. Yes, because you are trying to understand the culture from their point of view. Is that okay? Whereas when you become ethic, outsider's point of view, your cultural practices are going to influence how you are going to understand another society. Now, I come from an urban society. If I go and study a rural community, my point of view will be very different from the point of view of the native. Somebody who has lived in rural area, the way he is going to look at the things will be very different from how I look at things. But when I am an outsider, I will be much more objective, meaning I will not be influenced by my personal opinions in that point of view. Okay, so if you see here, EMIC is insider's point of view, native point of view, context specific. Whereas outsider's point of view is ethic. It is objective because you are an outsider. You don't have any idea. So when you collect information, they will be objective. But if you are an insider point of view, you have better understanding, but you may be little bit biased because you come from that particular society. Now, for example, caste system. If you ask some upper caste, he will say that caste is just a cultural practice. There is no discrimination. But when an outsider comes and sees culture, he will observe the discrimination. He will see that, oh, this particular caste is not allowed to do this. This particular caste is not allowed to wear this particular kind of clothes. They are not allowed to do these rituals. So that means he will be able to see, but an insider will be biased. Okay, so there is going to be objectivity. Yes, external standard uncover the general pattern. Outsider's point of view. So this is another dimension. So because anthropologists will study from both insiders as well as outsiders' point of view. So there are tools and techniques through which anthropologists can study a culture from both insiders as well as outsiders' point of view. Then case study, detailed understanding of culture, detailed study of a culture. Okay, that is called as case study. Like how you go to a hospital and they will build a case study of yours. Like they will ask your name, family history, past history, present history, everything. So by asking all relevant questions about you and your health, they will build up a huge case study about you. So a detailed study of culture or society or human biology is done by anthropologists. We don't study only one aspect. Everything is studied in a detailed manner. That is what is called as case study. Another very important aspect of anthropology is field work. So anthropology is a field subject. Okay. So in anthropology, anthropologists go visit the field. They learn their language. They stay with the natives. They will participate in their cultural practices and in turn collect the information. So therefore, fieldwork becomes the very core methodology in anthropology. Okay, so that is very unique. Unlike other disciplines like science, it is done in a laboratory. Economy, you might be able to collect statistics and you can study economy. Right? But anthropology is not like that. It's a field subject. Unless you go to the field, you will not be able to truly understand and appreciate this. And lastly, diachronic and synchronic. Diachronic means if you're studying a particular society, you study the society present and then you compare with the past. Okay, so that is diachronic, two. Okay, dia means two. Chronic means time. So the same society is studied in relationship with its past, in comparison with its past. Whereas synchronic means the same society is not compared with another, in synchronic means the society is studied with another society at the same time. So diachronic means society A is compared with its own past. Okay, A1, A2. The same society is compared. The present is compared with the past. Whereas in synchronic, A is compared with B at the same time. Synchronic means, synchronous means together. Chronic means time. Two societies is studied at the same time. So we compare and study. We compare the same society with its past. We compare two societies at the same time also. So this comparison will help us to understand the similarities and difference, okay, and help us to develop theories to understand human society and culture. Okay, right. So emic perspective, etc. I hope you understood. So this is very important, guys. So what makes anthropology unique? One, it's a holistic study, right? Number two, we do comparative study. Number three, systems and process. That means it studies everything from a dynamic point of view, a living aspect of it. Emic and ethic point of view. Emic means insider, ethic means outsider's point of view. Case study, detailed understanding of the society. Number six, field work. Number seven, diachronic and synchronic study. Coming to the branches of anthropology. Okay, so as I told you, anthropology is a holistic study of mankind. Now, within anthropology as a discipline, there are different branches where anthropologists focus on specific areas of humans. Now you have socio-cultural anthropology. When we say social-cultural anthropology, in socio-cultural, they study human, society, and culture. When we say society, group of people who share common culture. Now, what is common culture? What is culture? Culture is way of life, or it is human behavior. So that is what is culture, right? So we study human society and we study their way of life. We study them, we describe it, we analyze it, and we synthesize theory. And we discussed make ethic point of view, field work, case studies, diachronic, synchronic, comparative studies. Yes, holistic aspect. So in socio-cultural anthropology, we study human religion, we study human economy, we study human political system, we study human family, we study human marriage, we study human kinship. So all these things, language, everything is studied about human culture. Okay, we studied the past as well as the present and what changes is happening. We develop theories as to why people behave a particular way and all of this. Okay. Then, in physical or biological anthropology, we understand human biology, okay, and how human biology is, influenced by culture, environment, okay, why there is variations, why there is evolution, all of this. So the genetic basis of humans and how human biology is shaped by environment, how human biology is shaped by culture. Okay, this is studied in human biology. So there are a lot of applied aspect of biological anthropology, like it is useful in understanding human growth and development. It is useful in population or demographic studies. It is useful in nutritional studies. There is a different branch called as within biological anthropology called as forensic anthropology, where we use biological knowledge for legal jurisprudence, okay, for solving crimes, finding missing persons, etc. Then we also have another applied aspect of biological anthropology is sports anthropology, which is called as kinanthropology, where knowledge of biology is used to improve human sporting abilities, to improve their performances, to improve their training methodology, etc. Okay, so we try to understand human physique also, how human body is shaped and the science behind it. So this knowledge about human body is useful in designing equipments, designing clothes and other things. Okay, so that is the aspect of physical or biological anthropology. Then archaeological anthropology, as the name itself shows that we study human past. Prehistory of humans are studied in anthropology. So archaeologists will dig up cultural remains and they will try to interpret human past culture from these remains. Okay, along with this, biological and archaeological in biological or physical anthropology, we also focus of human evolution, how humans have evolved from our ancestors, that is primates, etc. Then linguistic anthropology, where we try to study human language as a cultural entity. Okay, in human language, we study about the structure of human language, the history and origin of human language, the variations in human language, and the cultural application of human language. Okay, that means how do we use language in cultural context? Now, same language that you use, the grammar or the words that we use with different people in your own society, it varies. When you talk to a younger generation and when you talk to an elder generation, the way you modulate your tone, the words that you are going to use, that is going to change. So the cultural and social context of language is studied in linguistic anthropology. And the last one is applied anthropology, where we use the knowledge of anthropology, yes, for human welfare, human development. Okay, so that is applied anthropology. So these are the different branches of anthropology. In your notes, right? So before we start with social-cultural anthropology, if you see your textbook, okay, if you open your, so if you see page number 5 of part 1, okay, so there is introduction to anthropology, meaning, etymology, okay, the different terms, including ethnology, ethnography, okay. Then there is a topic called as development of anthropology in page number 6. Okay, so development of anthropology from a historical point of view. How did this discipline of anthropology happen? You can just quickly go through it. It's easy to understand. Then if you move on to page number 10, you have scope of anthropology. Okay, what does anthropology as a discipline study? And if you come to page number 11, the last topic that we did, that is what makes anthropology unique, that is there. And page number 13, the different branches of anthropology, right? So all these things, what we explained now, are there in page number 5 to page number 14. I want you to all read it. And then in page number 15, there is a question I want you to answer. Okay, so we'll first start with our first section, that is social cultural anthropology. Okay, again, these are the sources. You can just refer to part 1 of our textbook. Okay, you will finish, you will find all the topics that are relevant. Okay, right. Now, what is social cultural anthropology? Here we study human society. When we say human society, it means group of people who share common culture. Group of people who share common culture that constitute a society. Now we study the society, how individuals interact with each other, what are their status, what is their role, etc. is studied in human society. So human society means group of people who share common culture. What is culture? Culture is way of people life. Okay, my way of life is culture. Human behavior is culture. Now, how do I behave? The language that I speak, the dress that I wear, okay, the religion that I practice. It is my way of life. It is my behavior. So that is culture. So human society and its culture is studied. So some anthropologists may focus on culture. When we say culture, okay, there are different institutions that make culture, like religion, family, kinship, economy, political institution. So anthropologists may study individual institutions, or they may study the entire culture. Or some anthropologists will focus on human society and not worry about individual culture. So like that, it depends on anthropologists what they want to study. Now, in anthropology, in social cultural anthropology, we study human society, okay, and we try to describe them, we try to analyze, and then synthesize theories. I'll give you a very simple example, one of the first topics that we will be discussing. Okay, the question is like incest taboo or marriage. Is marriage universal? If so, what marriage is universal? Alright, if you have seen, different societies practice different types of marriage. Now, is marriage as an institution universal? If so, which kind of marriage is universal. Something like that. So I'm just trying to give you an example. Okay. So we study different institutions within human culture. Now, what is institution? All of that we will understand later. For now, just some vague idea you have. So when we take human culture, if you take your culture, so you have religion, you have economic practices, you have some political authority, you have a family, you have your relatives, blood and marriage relatives who are called are your kins. So you can study all of these institutions. These are institutions. Okay, so culture is made up of several institutions. So social cultural anthropologists, what do? They study about human society cross-culturally. That means they study different societies across the world. And it focuses on how people lead their daily life. Okay, how do they eat? What do they eat? What do they do to that? How do they reproduce, things like that. Behavior of people deals with man in context of society and culture. It studies the way of life of people in terms of time and space. Okay, so this is what is culture. Now the scope is what? It examines human behavior, okay, in all places, all times. When we say social aspect, I told you. When we say cultural aspect, I told you. When I say social aspect, it studies individuals, how they interact with each other to form a group, right? Because society is, when we say social aspect, it means group of people, okay, who interact with each other, So the interaction is based on the status, that means the position of individual and the role that they play. Now all this, don't worry, it is still the beginning. You might not be able to appreciate all of that. When we study theorists, over there I will be talking about the social system. So then you will be able to understand what you mean by status and role. Then when we say cultural aspect, means what? It is people's behavior, how people behave. Okay, so the language that they speak, the religion that they practice, the food that they eat, the economy that they perform, all of that is a cultural aspect. So whatever you study, whether the society, social aspect or cultural aspect, you describe it, meaning you simply write about it and learn about it, then analyze it, why so, and synthesize, meaning develop theories. Yes, so that is what is the scope of socio-cultural anthropology. By doing this, you will explain the various social phenomena, why people behave a particular way. So this is the scope of social cultural anthropology. So here we have different sub-branches. Economic anthropology, where they study about human economic institution, modes of production, distribution, and consumption. It studies the political anthropology. That means how leadership is distributed, how power is distributed, okay, who has the authority, how law is made in different societies, how justice is delivered in different societies. Psychological anthropology, where they try to study about human behavior, okay, in different societies. Anthropology of religion, different religion like animism, animatism, fetishism, okay, and monotheism, polytheism, like this. Then ecological anthropology, where they try to study how culture and environment interact with each other. Ethno-archaeology. Now, if you see here, ethno means folk. Archaeology means study of the past. So, ethno-archaeology is a branch of socio-cultural or archaeological anthropology where they try to study the present in order to understand the past. By studying today's society, we will be able to understand our past. Like say, for example, you get an archaeological remain and you don't know what it is, but some modern societies are using it. So by studying present day modern societies, you will be able to understand the past. So these are the different branches of social cultural anthropology. One more is linguistic anthropology, but in many books and universities, they consider linguistic anthropology as a separate discipline. Anyways, linguistic anthropology, as I told you earlier, we study language, its origin, differences, the structure of language, and also the cultural application of language, how language varies from different context within the culture. Okay, so this is the different sub branches of social cultural anthropology. So with that, we'll move on to our first chapter, that is marriage. So marriage is your first chapter that we will be starting. Okay, so in this chapter, if you see 2.3, so far what we have done is just simply introduction to anthropology. You don't have to worry about some of the terms that might not have been familiar with you, because as we discuss in the future, lot of theories, etc., these words will get familiar. For now, if you don't have clarity, that is okay, right? So we'll start with our first syllabus. Okay, marriage. So in marriage, all these are the topics. So let's try to break it down into simpler way. So this, if you see syllabus 2.3, okay, we have shared the course document. In that course document, you have the syllabus. So go through that. Okay, in that 2.3, so we will try and finish this today and tomorrow, marriage and the various points. So what are the important topics under this? I have broken down it into this. One is universal definition of marriage. Then marriage regulation. That means what are the rules relating to marriage? Types of marriage regulations. Okay. Then incest, taboo. Okay. Then types of marriage, functions of marriage, and marriage payment. That is financial transaction that happens, okay, before, during, or after marriage. Okay, so that is the topics that we will be covering. Okay, now for your chapter on marriage, kinship, family, etc., one thing that you have to do is to draw family tree. So this will help us to describe certain things easily. Okay, and it is a must that you should draw in your examination. So marriage, family, kinship, etc., is to do with blood relationship or marriage. So in order to show this relationship, we need to draw family tree or kinship diagram. For drawing this kinship diagram, you require certain symbols. You should be aware of it. Okay, to show how an individual is related to another person, okay, in your family, in your kinship, etc., we need to draw diagram. So therefore, remember these symbols. Okay, so over here, triangle means male. Okay, circle means female. Now, a man and a woman is married. Marriage is shown by two horizontal lines, okay, parallel to each other, shows marriage. Okay, now their children will be shown by one vertical line. The siblings will be shown by one single line. Double line means marriage, single line means brothers and sisters. So now father, mother, brother, and sister. Simple. So whenever we are explaining family, kinship, marriage, etc., we have to draw diagrams to help us to show the relation. Otherwise, it is unnecessarily time consuming. So by looking at this diagram, you will know, okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You will know that 3 is 2's son, 3 is 4's brother, 4 is 1's daughter. It becomes very easy for us to explain, describe, and all of that. So anthropologists use these diagrams. So some other symbols. So as I told you, male, female, okay. Then deceased will be shown as scratched. Double line means married. A cancel of that is divorce. Now if this 1 and 2 are divorced, you will show a cross. Is that okay? Now, in that, okay, like this is a diagram. Now, over here, you have a word called as ego. So when I mention this word ego, ego means the person from whom the relationship is traced. All these relationship is traced from the ego. So usually ego is shaded. Okay, completely shaded. Okay, so this person is ego. So therefore, we have completely shaded. So that means we'll trace all this person, this person, this person, every person's relationship with ego. Is that okay? Right? So when I say this person is ego's husband, this is sister. Sister means whose sister? Ego's sister. Over here, this is also sister. Whose sister? Ego's sister. When I have scratched it, it means that sister is dead. Okay. So over here, you can see this is brother. Whose brother? Ego's brother, not anybody else. Ego's brother. When I say sister-in-law, it means brother's wife. Whose brother? Ego's brother's wife is sister-in-law. Now over here, catch means. So like this. Now this is granddaughter. Granddaughter, whose granddaughter? Ego's granddaughter. When I say grandfather, that means ego's grandfather. Is that okay? This is wrong. It's grandfather. Okay. Right. Ego. So ego is the person from whom we are tracing. So this is something which you have to clear. Okay. So male, female, married, siblings, male, female, married, siblings. Yes, divorce. Now let's say if this is the person I want to trace the relationship from ego. So ego is, see, when anthropology, when we go to the field, we will catch hold of some person and we will ask questions to him. We will ask, who is your wife? Who is your brother? Who is your sister? Who is your husband? Etc. So who is the husband? Who is your brother? Who is your father? Who is your grandfather? So the person from whom we trace the relationship is called as ego. So this is something which you have to keep in mind for marriage, kinship, family, because in all these institutions, family, kinship, etc., we trace the relationship because it's all about establishing a relationship by blood or marriage. When we say family, what is family? It is an institution established by blood or by marriage. So you marry somebody and establish a family, or you are born into a family. So to show all of that, you need to draw diagram, kinship diagram or family tree. Okay, so with that, we'll move on to the first topic of our discussion in the chapter marriage. So in this chapter, marriage, we'll have to study the universal definition of marriage. The question is, universal definition of marriage. Describe the problem of universal definition of marriage. See, what is it trying to say over here? Now, this particular topic, let's try to understand. Universal definition of marriage. See, first is, if marriage is universal, is marriage universal? Is marriage universal? If marriage is universal, then can we define marriage which will fit into all society? Okay, we'll see the problem. Can we have a universal definition of marriage? The first question is, what is marriage universal? What is the second question? Can we have a universal definition of marriage? This is what we need to address. So the first question is marriage universal? Now, many anthropologists agree to the fact that yes, marriage is universal because marriage as an institution, it fulfills certain functions. It solves certain problems that exist in human society. Again, I'll repeat. Is marriage universal? Anthropologists agree that there are some problems in human society. Okay. Now that problem is universal. Every society will have this problem. That problem is solved by marriage, is what they say. Now, what are those problems? Now, division of labor. That means male and female, they cannot perform biologically the same tasks. Is that okay? For example, the mother will bear children. Matlab she will get pregnant and she will have children. Father cannot do that. Okay, only mother can become pregnant. Only female can become pregnant. Father cannot become pregnant. When the mother is pregnant, somebody has to take care of the mother. Right? So there is division of labor. Biologically, whatever today we say equality, etc. But otherwise also, now from a biological point of view, there is division of labor. Now, how do we solve this division of labor? One way to solve it is through marriage. Through marriage, husband and wife will have divided responsibilities. Next, sexual competition. Human, female and male can reproduce throughout the year. They're sexually active throughout the year. Okay, it's not like some animals where they come into heat. Only then they can mate. Humans are not like that. They are sexually active throughout the year. So there is going to be a lot of competition within the society between, people, between individuals to mate with another opposite sex individual. And this is going to cause a lot of tension in the society. Okay, and it is going to cause friction and breakdown of society. To solve that, you have marriage. So once they are married, they will channelize that sex, okay, within that marriage. So human society has evolved and developed institution like marriage to channelize sex. Is that okay? So like this, anthropologists believe that marriage is universal because some of the inherent problems in humans are solved by marriage. So Murdoch says marriage solves problem of sharing product of gender division of labor. He says that it provides care for infants who are dependent for a long period of time. Couples marry, have children. Children are dependent on the mother for a long period of time. And this leads to mother having less ability to do other things. So there is a father figure who helps the mother. In turn, mother can take care of children. So therefore, Murdoch says family as an institution helps to address this problem, and which is universal. Linton, another side, he says that it minimizes sexual competition. As I told you, humans can have sex throughout the year to reduce competition with others. Marriage is there. Now, once an individual is married, they have sex within the marriage. Other individuals, they do not. And this reduces competition in the society. Okay, so Murdoch and Linton, they have said, and others have agreed, that marriage as an institution is universal. But then the next question is whether marriage definition, whether there is a universal definition of marriage. Now, one of the first definition that was given about marriage was Edward Westermarck. If you see, read this. This is a definition given by Edward Westermarck. So he says, marriage is a relationship of one or more men with one or more women, which is recognized by customs or laws, and which involves certain rights and duties both in case of parties entering the union and in case of children born to it. So according to Edward Westermarck, marriage is a relationship between man and women. It can be one man and one woman, or many man and one woman, or one man and many women, whatever combination. But it is a relationship between man and women. And such relationship should be recognized by the customs of that society or law of that society. And the individuals who are part of this, they have rights and duties. Rights like husband having right over the wife, wife having right over the husband, duties towards each other. Okay, so that is the first definition of marriage given by Edward Westermarck. If you take, for example, our society, your society. Take your own society and you see any marriage. Does it fit into this definition? Yes, it does fit into this situation, right? So there is a husband, there is a wife. They are married based on the customs or law. So same caste or same thing or whatever. They are recognized by the people of that society. Yes, oh, they are married. So they had a marriage function. Okay, there a big rota was there, reception was there, whatever. And then they got married. And after marriage, they have rights over each other's labor, property, sex, etc. And also they have duties to each other. So our society, it fits. Many societies, it fits. So therefore, see, Edward Westermarck was one of the earliest anthropologists coming from European nation. So there also you had, similar case. So the definition fit there well. In some society, you have polygamy. Yes, more than one husband or more than one wife. That also it fits. Like in Islamic society, there is more than one wife. A man can have more than one wife. So a man with more than one wife. Is it recognized? Yes, Islamic laws and customs recognizes such marriage. So therefore, that marriage also it fulfills. So most of the marriage, okay, that we are commonly aware of, our societies or Western society, it fits in. So therefore, Edward Westermarck gave this definition. But anthropology is not like that. Anthropologist will then review it, whether Edward Westermarck was correct, whether his definition fulfills all marriages. So now that became the question. So anthropologists did cross-cultural studies. Anthropologists did cross-cultural studies. And they found that not every society this definition fits. There are exceptions to this definition. See, now what are we trying to do? We are trying to get a universal definition for marriage. So the first definition, first attempt to define marriage, which will apply to all society universally, with no exception, was given by Edward Westermarck. But anthropologists, other anthropologists criticized this by saying that no, there are exceptions. For example, among the Nuers, there is women-women marriage that is recognized by the society, by the customs and law. So the definition, what Edward Westermarck says, is man and women. But in Nuers, there is women-women marriage, which is recognized, homosexuality. Even today, we are fighting modern society, but among the Nuers, women-women homosexuality was legally allowed. It was legally allowed. Okay. Similarly, ghost marriage, meaning women marrying the ghost. Where is the ghost here? There is no ghost, only man and women, according to Edward Westermarck. But among the Nuers, there is ghost marriage, meaning women getting married to a ghost. In Azande, there is man-man marriage. In Azande, there is man-man marriage. Among the Eskimos, okay, there is a relationship outside marriage, extramarital relationship, which is recognized by the society among the Eskimos. Then there is fictitious marriage, sham marriage, marriage for only political or economic purpose, with no rights and duties. In sham marriage, there is no rights and duties for the parties that come into picture. Okay. Then concubinage, Jamaican Negroes also, there is no right. So I'll try to explain each of them. See, for example, among the Eskimos, the Inuit society, consensual partners are exchanged. That means the couples exchange their wife with each other, particularly during extensive hunting trip. Why is this there? This is to maintain social bond. So couples exchange their mate with each other. This helps to maintain social bond, friendship with two groups, and prevent genetic bottleneck, because Eskimo community, that is Inuits, are a small community. So by having sexual relationship with outsiders, they are introducing new gene into their group. Okay, there is a concept, look at this, there is a concept called as lamp extension games, which is referred to as ritualized partner exchange, which is seen among the Inuits culture. Is that okay? So they have sex with outsiders. By doing that, they are introducing a new gene and promoting social bond. Now, this is recognized by the society. That's what I'm trying to say. They are recognized by the society where the women has relationship with some other men. And those men don't have any rights and obligation towards the wife. Similarly, ghost marriage. Now, what is ghost marriage? See, an individual dies without a child. Okay, a person X, let's say person X, dies without a child. Now, among the knowers and many societies, if one do not have a child, they will not reach the heaven, or their soul will not be liberated. Whatever, there is a belief system that having children is very important. So if a person dies without a child, he will not get salvation. So in that context, what happens is the society decides that a woman will marry the dead person. Symbolically, they will marry a dead person. The woman, in turn, will get pregnant by ex-relatives. One of the relative will have sex with this woman, and this woman will become pregnant and will have a child. Now, the child will be labeled as belonging to X. The child will belong to X, even though it is not his biological child, but because the woman was married to X, the child belongs to X. This is called as ghost marriage. So knowers, men is expected to bring children to their lineage. When the young man dies before he could have children, his spirit or soul is unhappy. So the unhappy soul may stay and cause problem to other people. So what the people will decide? The unhappy ghost cause sickness and other misfortune. So therefore the women is symbolically married to this person, dead person. The woman gets pregnant magically, okay, by secret male member of this X relative, and the child will belong to X. Culturally, socially, biologically. So here now again, what is a women marrying a dead person? Westermarck's definition does not fit here. Westermarck says a living man and a living woman. Here, women is marrying the ghost. Yeah, so this is how you draw the diagram. So husband, wife, the husband dies, the wife has relationship with another male member of husband's lineage, have children. These children will belong to the dead person. Women marriage also. Similarly, women marriage. So when the woman is sterile, see, when the woman is sterile, that means if she is not able to have children, then also problem. So what happens? Another woman is married to this woman. So what happens is, there is a woman, she is sterile. So she will be married off to another woman. This sterile woman will be designated as the husband, cultural husband. The society will call her, treat her husband. Now this woman will become pregnant, again magically by somebody. Okay, maybe her brother. Her brother will have a sexual relationship with that woman. The woman will get pregnant and have a child. Now this child will belong to the first woman. Okay, so when the woman is sterile, her lineage will culturally reassign her to be a male. By paying bride wealth, meaning by paying money, and establishing the rights over another women's children as her own. So by bride wealth is given, meaning money is given to this woman, the women's child will belong to this person. This is seen among the Nuers, Zulus, and Yorubas. Now, if you want to understand the modern term, it is surrogacy. You understood? Surrogacy. Traditional term is this. In traditional term, there was no surrogacy word. Basically, women would marry another woman. That women will bear a child for this first woman. Okay, surrogacy. Traditional surrogacy. Look at them. So advanced mindset. We are still trying to make surrogacy legal, illegal. We are trying to make law. But back then only society had enacted laws. Yes. Okay, so this is, so why enable the sterile women to have children and contribute to her lineage when she cannot have child? So this, I hope you understood. So these are all, now as an anthropologist, what are you trying to do? You are trying to understand these concepts to learn why people behave a particular way. Describe, analyze, synthesize. Yes, you're analyzing why people are behaving this way. Okay. So then you have fictitious marriage, fake marriage, or sham marriage, as I told you. Sham, fake marriage, false marriage among the Quackity Red Indians. Again, this also is, see, an indigenous people in northwest coast of Canada. These Quackitil Red Indians, they are found in Canada. Okay, so here what happens is, the properties, they are passed down through female line. It's a matrilineal society. So all the properties, etc., they are passed through daughter in marriage. Now, if the family had no daughters, see now in India, many are patrilineal society. That means properties are inherited by male members. Here, properties are inherited by female members. If the family has no daughter, then problem, no. So in that case, what happens is the boys are married. Fake marriages are done, okay, in order to pass the properties through the male line. See, if family has no daughter, they risk losing the properties because they'll not have anybody to inherit it. It will go off to some other family. So the solution is they will create false marriage, fictitious marriage. A son will marry another man symbolically. Okay. And whatever children is born to that relationship, they will inherit the property. Or a woman of another family will be adopted symbolically as a daughter. Okay. Just to ensure that the property is passed down. So this allows family to transfer its name, property, and ritual rights. Is that okay? In India, we see these kind of marriages. Alva? So they marry to an animal. If sometimes, you know, their astrologers will say that this person is Manglik, whoever marries will die. The first husband will die. So they will marry an innocent dog. So the first husband is the dog. So here what is happening? An individual is marrying animal. So Westermarck's definition says what? It says man and women. Doesn't talk about women. Doesn't talk about women and ghost. Doesn't talk about man and animal or women and animal. So many societies practice this kind of marriage, which is not. So therefore, the definition failed. And today we are seeing these kind of marriages also. If you see this picture over here, sologamy, that means one marries themselves. Okay, solo marriage. Look at this, solo marriage. They marry themselves. So women alone or man alone. Okay, so recently in India also, there was such marriage. If you see there, Kshama Bindu married herself. Now, Westermarck's definition does not define this. She is only putting Bindi to herself. Okay, whatever could be the reason in order to show commitment to self-love or self-acceptance, etc. So the anthropologists have also given a word now for this kind of marriage called as sologamy. So all these examples show that Westermarck's definition is not universal. So he failed to define or give a universal definition of marriage. Then, so another definition you will write. Okay, so after this, after Westermarck's definition, others have also attempted to give definition. So if you see here, Malinowski and Radcliffe Brown, another anthropologist. See, all these names will become familiar in the future. Don't worry about it. Okay, read and understand it. After a few days, you will start appreciating the names. Okay. So in your answer, you will be writing, so Edward Westermarck's definition, it failed. The second definition was, or another important definition was given by anthropologists like Malinowski and Radcliffe Brown, who says, marriage is a union of man and women where they are socially recognized as father and mother of women's children. One more definition given by Notes and Queries. It's like the Encyclopedia of Anthropology, Notes and Queries on Anthropology. It defined marriage as a union between man and women such that children born to women are recognized legitimate offspring of both parents. See, whatever, you read it and understand it later. But what I want you to appreciate here is this definition. It gives stress on legitimacy of parenthood. Meaning what? What it is trying to say is that marriage is any institution that gives legitimacy to parenthood. That means children born into a relationship, whatever it is, man, women, man and women, man and animal, man and ghost, whatever it is, children born to that relationship are recognized by the society. Are recognized by the society. Is that understood? Any relationship in which children are born and that children enjoys equal status to other members of the society, that means they are legitimate, means they should not be considered bastards. They should be considered legitimate. Such relationship is marriage. Doesn't matter man, women, ghost marriage, nothing. That is not important. What is important is from that relationship, if there is a legitimate children recognized by the society, then it is marriage. That's what this two definitions says. Marriage is a union between people socially recognized as father and mother. So it defines, so here also if you see, in this case, all these cases, the children born, are they recognized as legitimate? Yes. Then it is a marriage. Is ghost marriage defined by it? Yes, because children born to that marriage or ghost is considered legitimate. So it defines all of this. Okay, but you should also remember that there are exceptions. Anthropologists again checked whether this is universal. Then they found that no. There are societies where every children born is automatically given legitimacy. Within marriage or outside marriage, they are given legitimacy. Okay, like for example, among the Onatowa, studied by Raymond Firth, a child is legitimate even if the parents are not formally married. Okay. Second, Truckisme, studied by Goodenough and others. Illegitimacy was not a social stigma. That means there is no concept of illegitimacy. Every children born to marriage is considered legitimate. So you don't need marriage in Onatowa and Truckis to give legitimacy to parenthood. So therefore, it cannot be universal. So when we say universal means it should be applicable to all society. Is it universal? No. So even this definition is not universal. Okay, next. Murdoch tried to define marriage from an transactional point of view, economic point of view. He says marriage is a socially sanctioned union of man and women involving residential cohabitation, economic cooperation, and formation of nuclear family, and sexual rights, child protection, and child care responsibilities. So basically, Murdoch explains marriage as a social transaction. So he says that marriage is a socially sanctioned union. Okay, socially sanctioned. That means it should be recognized by the society, where there is residential cohabitation, meaning after marriage they live together. Economic cooperation between husband and wife and the children. Establishment of nuclear family, that is husband and wife and children. They establish a nuclear family. There is economic cooperation and sexual function happens within the marriage. Such an institution, according to Murdoch, is called as marriage. But again, anthropologists did cross-cultural studies and found that there are many societies which do not have residential cohabitation. That means after marriage, they don't live together. After marriage, they don't live together. Like the Nayars of Kerala. Among the Nayars of Kerala, there is no residential cohabitation. After marriage, they don't live together. There is no economic cooperation. Husband and wife, they don't cooperate with each other. Economic cooperation is not there, sorry. Nuclear family is not established. The husband, meaning the male member, stays with his family. The wife, the female, stays with her family. Okay. Similarly, among the kibbutz of Israel and Jamaican Negroes also. So we'll see all of that. See, Nayars. See, Nayars are from Kerala. Traditionally, they are warriors, landowners, landlords, and local rulers. They practice patrilineal system. Patrilineal means properties, titles, etc. is transmitted from the mother to their children. Okay. They live in a matrilineal family. That means mother's side. Okay. They live in the matrilineal family. That name of the family is called as Taravad. Okay. Matrilineal family. Matrilineal household. That means the females, all the sisters, along with their brothers, live in a joint family. There is no husband figure. There is no husband figure. Right. So, among them, they have different practice marriage. So, here, after the husband marries, they leave the husband, they leave the wife, and they go away. Okay. So, this practice is called as Tali Kattu Sambandham. The husband ties Tali only for ritual purpose. They don't have any sexual relationship. Okay, they don't live together. There is no economic cooperation. Once the female finishes this ritual, they have relationship with other men. They can have relationship with other men. Okay, they have what is called as visiting husband. The husband who ties the tali is called as the ritual husband. The husband who visits the wife, meaning the female, they are called as visiting husbands. Is that okay? Let's say this person X is the female. So the female, after she comes to maturity, will be married to Y, who is called as a ritual husband. Ties the tali, but does not have sexual relationship, does not stay with each other. There's no interaction, economic cooperation, nothing. They live separately. X lives with her matrilineal household, with other sisters and brothers. Y goes away. Now, there are other men who visits her and has a relationship with her. Now, they are just visiting husbands. They also don't have any economic cooperation. They don't have any other responsibility towards X or the children she is going to have. The children and X, all of them are taken care by the matrilineal household, which is called as Tarava. I hope you understood. So it's a very complex phenomena where you have the Taravad, where you have the Talikattu Sambandham, visiting husband and everything. So in this case, what happens is that marriage as an institution does not exist. Yes, from the traditional sense. Is there residential cohabitation? No. Is there economic cooperation? No. Is there nuclear family, sexual function? This, nothing is there in Nayars. So therefore, this definition also cannot be considered a universal definition. Similarly, kibbutz. If you see kibbutz is an community-based living among the Israeli society. Okay, kibbutz is a collective agricultural settlement. So what happens is when the children are born, after few years, they are sent into this community home. Parents have no responsibility towards children. There is no cohabitation of the children. Husband, wife will live separately, children will live separately. Collective child rearing, like a dormitory. Even in tribals, we see dormitory system. So what happens after the children are born? They are kept in these household, taken care, reared by the community. So here also there is no cohabitation. Then one more, Jamaican Negroes, studied by G.S. Smith. If you see here also the female and male, they don't have any permanent relationship. Okay, they don't have permanent relationship. They are only visiting husbands. They visit, they have sexual relationship and they leave. The children born into that relationship are taken care by the mother and her family. Family structure, all of this. So visiting union, man visits the women occasionally. Child rearing is the responsibility of mother. Father's role is limited. So here also, if you see, it does not fulfill the definition of Murdoch. So this definition also fails. One more is given by Kathleen Gow. Kathleen Gow says marriage is a relationship between a woman and one or more person, which provides that child born to the women under circumstance not prohibited by the rules of relationship is accorded full birth status right common to normal member of his or her society and social status. So what is it saying? Marriage is a relationship between a woman and one or more person. It can be a man or a woman or whatever. Such a way that the child born to that relationship, that women, under this circumstance, is not prohibited by the rule. That means it is accepted by the society and given full status. Is that okay? Again, what is the definition saying? Social acceptance of relationship and legitimacy of children. The relationship between the women and another person should be accepted by the society, and also the children born to that women in that relationship should be legitimate. But here again, it does not take into consideration societies where you don't need marriage to give legitimacy to children, like Onatoa and Truckees, what we discussed earlier. So even this definition is not universal. See, this is what you have to remember from the exam point of view. Murdoch, Malinowski in Radcliffe Brown, Notes and Queries. Yes, Kathleen Gow, all these anthropologists and their definition, and you argue why none of these definitions are able to define marriage as a, give a universal definition that helps to define marriage in every institution. It cannot. So therefore, it fails. So finally, to conclude, what we can say is that many anthropologists today, they don't want to talk about what is universal or can we have a universal definition, etc. They have given up because we now accept that every society is different from each other. So Leach says, let's not define or give a universal definition. So instead of defining, he says that marriage includes bundle of rights. He lists 10 rights: establishment of fatherhood, establishment of motherhood, monopoly over sexual access, rights over labor services, rights over property, joint fund of property, conferring right of inheritance, establish legal joint parenthood, create social significant relationship between the relatives, legitimacy to the children. So these are the 10 rights or 10 provisions of marriage that Leach has observed among all society. So he says that these 10 need not exist in all society. Is that okay? All these 10 will not be found in all society. Some society they may give importance only to motherhood and not fatherhood. Some society may give importance to division of labor. So it varies. So instead of defining marriage, Leach lists the rights under marriage. And he says that marriage is universal, but the definition is not culture specific. So marriage is seen in all society, okay, but it also varies depending upon various factors. So that is your conclusion. So how do we start? We start with saying marriage is a universal institution. Attempts were made to define marriage, okay, and help to, in order to define every society's marriage. Okay, starting from Westermark, yes, then Malinowski, Radcliffe Brown, Murdoch, Kathleen Gow, and finally Leach. We will argue that yes, there has been limitations in these definitions, and finally we will say that it is futile, and today anthropologists have given up defining marriage which will be applicable universally. So that will be the conclusion. Is that okay, guys? So this is what, okay, this is what is this particular topic. The first topic is marriage universally defined. So this is what you can write. Read about it, okay. Is marriage universal? Define marriage. Sorry, describe the problem of universal definition of marriage. Can we have a universal definition of marriage? So that's the first topic that we have discussed today. Other than introduction, definition, scope of anthropology, the first topic is what is marriage? Definition of marriage. Can we have a universal definition of marriage? Okay, guys? So this is what it is. So we will end the class with this. Any doubt? Okay. So this particular topic, if you see, page number 19, 20, and 21. So this much you have to study today. As I told you, introduction. After that, okay, page number 19, universal definition of marriage, 2021. Okay, guys? If you have any doubt, read about it, and tomorrow you can ask. Okay? Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.